Take 1, 1, 2, 3, take 1, 1, 2, 3. Passion. If I asked someone what passion meant to them, I'd likely get a plethora of answers. Some people may define it as a hobby, like rock climbing. Some may define it as a job. Hell, someone may even say a person's name or their pet, God forbid. But the best I've got is a definition from Google and a picture of Danny DeVito. If you search for the word passion, the definitions that show up are strong and barely controllable emotion, or the suffering and death of Jesus. One of these is not our topic for today, but I think I speak for most people when I say that passion is widely known to us as a positive feeling felt when we enjoy something we do and want to do more of it. It drives us to do cool, great things for both ourselves and the people around us while enriching lives and bring life to ideas. Those same ideas then spark change in the world, inspiring the growth of others for the better, thus becoming some strange accursed emotional rain cycle. On a personal level, it gets you excited about the world. It gives strength and vitalizes even the most undead of individuals. As a whole, it's a good, fuzzy, warm kind of force which can bring the most unlikely of people together. But hold the fucking phone. Since when did we live in a fucking Disney world where McDonald's ice cream machines didn't spaz out the moment I walked through those godforsaken doors? Passion alone isn't enough to fuel people. If that was the case, we would all be enjoying beautiful ice creams on those borderline heat stroke inducing summer days. My Just Up Darling illustrates that feeling beautifully as a witty and light-hearted story while showing the pain and adrenaline of passion through its character dynamics and story. However, instead of humongous plots and power systems, the theme of cosplay within the series acts as a driver for the storytelling of what it means to grow, and the challenges one faces in their personal pursuits. How does passion affect us? What does it mean to be passionate? How do these things tie into our frustrations? Things which I never expected to find in an anime about cosplay. Every great story requires its own way of forming conflict between or within characters. It helps create tension and gets us on the edge of our seats, fiending for the flip of a page or the press of the play next episode button, be it through storytelling or through other forceful methods. However, what happens when you need to create conflict in a mostly slice-of-life anime? While some anime and series resort to romance triangles and other sorts, My Just Up Darling uses a simple theme to tell its tale. Frustration is the natural predator of passion. It's an unremarkable antagonizing statement at first glance, but this one phrase drives the entirety of My Just Up Darling. Throughout the course of the series, from Gojo's very first dance with cosplay to the latest releases within the manga, the concept of frustration rears its head in different forms, often to challenge our characters and their wills. Everyone in the series has had some form of hardship that they've had to endure. Social norms, pressures from friends, bullying, self-confidence problems. I think a lot of teenagers are probably familiar with the plethora of words I just listed above and the heavy weight that they carry. Many try to find a way out of their problems, and thankfully, there are positive outlets out there, one of them being cosplay. Cosplay provides an unyielding, loving home for these people. It's a hobby which anyone can take up to become anyone they could want to become. Cosplay brings out the best of people to react with the best in others. It's why Marin and Gojo's character as people aren't apparent only through the ways they interact with each other, but how they interact with the medium of cosplay and how they deal with frustration for the sake of their passion. Gojo is this sweet introverted kid who enjoys submerging himself in his art form with Hina dolls, but it isn't until we really get to know him after some time that we understand his mannerisms and their meanings. The attention he gives to others isn't only applied to his dolls. The few friends he does make along the way are cared for greatly by him with the same or even more care than his dolls. And I can relate to him so much, thinking too much about people's thoughts and emotions towards you. Am I standing right? What do people usually do at these events? Maybe I should just leave. what people may be feeling at the moment and wondering if it's your fault or what you could do to change an awkward atmosphere with your poor set of social skills. And that hopelessness can be scary to face alone, and the reluctance to reach out after being stung before by rejection once is more than understandable. In the first major conflict of the show, caused by a mild misunderstanding between him and Marin, he gets pushed to his breaking point as a character, unable to do what he wants and unable to control his emotions. Pressure, frustration, all these negative emotions just build up inside of him. That thumping and that noise that tells you you're scared. Don't. You'll only get hurt again. I feel the kid on a personal level. When reading those panels in the manga, I did feel a slight sense of nostalgia, but as well as a little bit of PTSD thinking back to my days in an art program back in high school. Although it was extremely fun at times, the pressures which came with it made you want to cower in fear and hide the hell away. And it's that fear which accompanies cosplay. Cosplay on its own, it's much like an open book. People are free to write their own stories and express themselves, albeit with the risk of judgment from others. But it's that exact judgment which forms our other key character, Marin. Marin doesn't just exist as a person who loves cosplay or a people's best girl, as I've seen being brought up thousands of times at this point. She's worthy of this title to me because she recognizes the struggles and pains of others. It's why Marin can exist as who she is. Cosplayers inherently become their art. Their form of expression comes with the act of putting themselves in a vulnerable position. Just looking online after any anime convention, you can see the thousands of photographs that were taken during the event, and they're frankly extremely beautiful. However, I can't imagine the amount of courage it takes to put yourself in such a position on the internet where you could be judged by just about anyone. The thing is, Marin genuinely understands what it means to be a cosplayer. Not just someone who puts on clothing for the sake of a photo shoot and enjoyment, but someone who has the courage to overcome frustration for their passions. Kitagawa's tendency for being unreserved and unhinged aren't just limited to skinship either. Her opinions are strong and unadulterated as hell, chatting openly about things she's passionate about with Gojo, who's able to complement her zesty nature a lot better than other people. Her emotions and intentions are laid out plain and clear as day. If she's pissed at you, she will fuck your shit up and metaphorically kick you in the balls with her cold hard opinions. Though I'm sure she's not actually opposed to kicking you in the balls. Conversely, she's protective and warm-hearted towards those who are kind to her. Even in later parts of the manga, Marin's character remains consistent. She doesn't have some kinda whiny bitch arc or anything. She's actively advocating for respect towards others, and that having the courage to give it your all in something you love, even if it's not socially accepted by others, is more valuable than anything else to her. It's why she respects and cares for Gojo so much. He's the best boy of the series, not just because of his skills, but because he is supportive and respectful of her passion. It's not the fact that he tries to understand the things she's into which makes him a great character and friend, but it's because these things are part of her, and he wants to learn more about Kitagawa through these things she holds so dearly to herself, much like how she has treated his love for Hina dolls with the respect and care which he has never received from anyone else except his grandfather, despite having little to no understanding regarding Hina dolls at all. Her form of expressing her passion just so happens to be one of the loudest kinds of arts anyone could indulge in. These things are part of her inherently. It's her way of showing love to things she cares about. She expresses her thoughts readily, be it about a niche aero game or her philosophy to life. And that courage is her true strength as a person. It's a strength in engaging with cosplay despite knowing the challenges which may await her. But overcoming those challenges gives her the perspective and experience in helping others who wish to pursue their own loves. Although it isn't as clear to define and identify as Gojo's, Marin also encounters her own set of struggles during cosplay. Her inability to make costumes herself, her conflict of wanting to do cosplay but realizing that she doesn't fit the body type of the character, She overcomes these obstacles not by a physical struggle we see in something like a sports anime or a bloody battle in shonen, but by an acceptance of love. These struggles don't discriminate. The side characters like Juju and her sister do get their fair share of the backhand from cosplaying and its downsides. It's that internal conflict which plagues all artists. And it's not just limited to cosplay either, be it drawing, dancing, or even acting, any form of arts. It's not that Marin doesn't get afraid of the prospect of getting hurt, but to her, is it worth being scared forever of that jump into the abyss of what-ifs? She personifies the struggle against the pain of expressing yourself. The feeling of love for an art form is not a contrived form of romance what the characters have between each other, but a grounded form of showing how they influence each other as people. And to me, that contributes to authenticity and immersion. Every sentence of dialogue pops from the page, and I think the writer of the story, Shinichi Fukada, is to be thanked for it. With every problem they encounter, they have their own ghetto-ass way of working around the situation. Like, there's a scene down the line in the manga where they're trying to make a colored rose. So, what do you think they do here? I mean, I think the first thing which comes to most people's minds is to either buy a colored rose, but the thing is they're broke college students, so that's not an option, or painting the rose petals manually. The solution seems so fucking obvious, but I didn't even think of it for some reason. They just used a rose and let it suck up colored water to color its petals. It feels silly to say that, but I can see all this working in real life, and it's actual methods cosplayers who might be on time or money constraints would use. In place of power-loving and adrenaline-driven fights with explosions that you can almost feel the heat from, the rattling of sewing machines and slow-paced viewing of aisles in a fashion store replace those intense moments. It feels so much more intimate and down-to-earth, working its way naturally into the story as a tool to illustrate improvements within our protagonists. There have been multiple points while watching the anime where I found myself looking up terminology or going down cosplaying subreddits to learn more, even though I've never previously had thoughts of trying out cosplay. You ever have those moments where you start listening to someone talk about something and you just fucking fall asleep? This manga is the polar opposite. I had no idea what the fuck any of these terms were, but after watching the anime, I felt like I could give a fucking lecture to a room full of college graduates on why certain deniers of stockings work better than others. And I think that passion and love for making something is heavily reflected in the way that the author went about making her story. That's why I feel the phrase "put your heart into it" really is one that has sound truth the more you think about it. After each chapter, there's a small afterword written by Fukada for the audience, and while I usually skip these, her entertaining experiences brought me closer to the story as I read through her recounts of her research while trying to write this great story for us. We actually get to see how rough it can be to be a cosplayer. People might have the preconceived notion of cosplay being this easy profession or even hobby where everything is just a glorified Halloween party. But the thing is, that statement couldn't be more false. The weather, the preparation for not only the costumes but the shoots, photo shoots being ruined because of unforeseen circumstances. There are so many factors which remain unbeknownst to the target demographic who are the viewers of cosplay. Each and every time, they have to find a way to counter the situation or improvise on the spot. And mind you, they are pretty much completely new to this stuff. Subsequently, you see the mistakes they make and how they learn from them. They forget to consider weather conditions and it reflects right back at them when Marin gets absolutely shit on by the unforgiving summer heat. They openly take it in. There isn't a big goal or a huge plan, they just make cosplay they enjoy. And when they fuck up, well, they handle it in their own authentic, unique ways as well. You see them thoroughly and wholeheartedly drown in the medium, fully immersed in something they love. Making cosplay for people doesn't come naturally to Gojo. He takes his time to learn and indulge in the medium, learning about different pieces of fabrics and their properties, different techniques to achieve certain looks. It's relatable on a personal level where the main character isn't actually just a fucking genius at whatever they do. And it's so refreshing to be able to learn something alongside the characters. be it the art of styling wigs to the knickknacks used in cosplay makeup to bring out any extra bit of detail. There's a personal touch in the way that the audience gets to experience cosplay through this anime. And that's the magic which draws you in and at least made me want to learn more. The genuine love I felt from the author through the way she wrote her characters. There's an indescribable joy when you see your efforts come to fruition, a certain catharsis upon realizing that my efforts meant something, that overcoming that frustration and pain, albeit long and arduous, was eventually worth it. Frustration more often than not becomes a necessary evil when trying to define what passion is. In order to love something, I believe that you have to be able to hate it as well. Because without recognizing the flawed parts of things we love, are we really able to appreciate our art as a whole? Frustration shapes the way we approach our work and helps us to appreciate our efforts as well as keeps us grounded to the world around us and reminds us of how we can improve. It is a reminder of the human and squishy part of ourselves that no matter how proficient you become in your art form, will always exist. There's a great video by Super Eyepatch Wolf, who is one of my great inspirations, where he answers a question regarding, does it ever get easy to post a video? And he comes out straight and just flat out tells us, no, it doesn't. Each and every time he presses the upload button, he is scared beyond belief. And to me, that is a universal constant in any form of self-expression. Cosplay is a personification of what it means to believe in yourself and being courageous. It brings me to my favorite arc in the series. Marin and Gojo are tasked with the cosplaying of a specific male character within a series, so pretty standard, right? Except this time, the pressure to perform is higher than ever, with the duo being faced with a performance of a lifetime that their class relies on. Even when it all feels like it's going well, that feeling creeps up once again on Gojo, the insidious doubt which forever lives within artists. Just breathe in, just breathe out. Alright, you got this. God, I can feel all their stares on me. Alright, just ignore it. Okay? Just do it like how you usually do it. How do I usually do it? Alright, just pick up the brush. Then what? Just don't mess up, alright? Okay, we've done this so many times, just don't mess up, alright? What if it goes wrong? What if Kitagawa's dress becomes undone? What if the suit becomes undone? What if there's a part of it which looks ugly from a certain angle? And just before his world comes down crashing on him, he hears a voice. It's not the usual voices of frustration or judgment which he's been used to all his life, but a single timid voice from Kitagawa. And she checks in on him. In that moment of weakness, he remembers why he makes cosplay, and he remembers his reason for being an artist. And that gives him the strength to go on. He pushes forward beyond that, and the thing is, I've been in that exact position before. It's a well-rounded moment showing his growth from a timid kid with no friends, plagued by insecurities which eat him from the inside out, to a kid who can now stand on his own 2 feet with the support of all his friends that he's made. The cloth in his hand sits more firmly than usual, and even though it has the same weight as before, it feels lighter to him. He lifts it to his head, ties it around firmly as he picks up his brush, and with his calloused and scarred hands from the years of painting on Hina doll faces and sewing and cutting all those pieces of fabric, he lifts the brush timidly and gently to Kitagawa's face and gets to work. And when it's all said and done, and when the dust settles, Kitagawa has now become that character. And he looks up and just smiles. His previous lack of understanding and view of the world has slowly started to open up with the help of cosplay, and we see not only his skill in the medium go up, but also his ability to confront what he's run away from all his life. His fear of rejection, although not fully gone with the support he's never had before, it's loosened its grip on his throat. And that's a huge step in the right direction. There's things which only each of us in our own unique ways could do. For Gojo, it is his skill in craftsmanship, his commitment to objectives, and his ability to now reach out to someone else in his own unique way. And I find it hard to believe that he could have done it without the people around him. Emotions, be it positive or negative, have many different vessels and uses, but the strongest being people themselves. We are capable of humongous and great feats together, and to share the passion within oneself is to give life to a dream. Dreams which are culminations of our insecurities, our interests, our hopes, and our futures. A dream which could have possibly fizzled out and died. The art and story are merely directional signs which point to one message. To be passionate is to be strong. I admire Gojo for his courage, and I respect Marin for her persistence. I love their relationships, and I love that they bolster each other in such a wholesome way. Through the help and support of one another, do they only overcome their personal struggles. And that is the final piece in overcoming frustration. Above all, My Dress Up Darling is a story which exists as a form of defiance, with characters that act as vessels of pure, indomitable passion. Roses in the concrete defines towards the end of a dream. In the face of pure, unflinching, indifferent cruelty, humans still choose to nurture that flame, because without passion, what would we be other than just machines going through the motions? It's going to be a long walk. It's going to hurt like shit, but you just have to get up. Get up and start marching. And maybe, just maybe, you may be able to shake someone else's world as well, for them to carry on, and for a dream to live on. That is how passion can change a story, and how it can change a person. Thank you all for watching this video. It's my first video on YouTube, so I'm not really sure how to do this. It did take me a few months to get everything down. It took me months to get the first draft finally out, and even then I wasn't that happy about it. So I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If it would mean a lot to me if you guys dropped a like on the video. If you did like it, please drop a comment down below as well if you want to say anything. I promise I do read those. And if you really did like the video, just drop a subscribe. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, and if you always want to unsubscribe, it's an option as well. So yeah, I do have a couple of videos lined up in the future, though it might take a while because it's currently the holiday season and I'd prefer to take a break for a while, and then I'll be straight back into the things of YouTube. So hopefully you guys look forward to that. It's probably going to be a video either about Cyberpunk, Bocchi the Rock, or a manga series. Just look out for it. It depends on my mood. So that's all for now. If you did stick around to the end of the video, I don't know why you're still here, but I heavily appreciate it. Take care, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the new year. Alright, goodbye.